Hi, greedy 3Ders. Today's episode we're going to be doing another Aliens character from the wicked Diorama. Today is Newt, old Rebecca from the Aliens movie. This model, she's one of the smaller characters in the film, but she's an absolute iconic classic character. And if you've seen Aliens, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen Aliens, why haven't you seen Aliens? But anyway, I'll talk about how I made Newt here. Things didn't go always as planned, and we'll talk about that also. But if you want to see how I made her, and you want to see how I made the Colonial Marines helmet here, stay tuned. Newt has been printed on the Uniformation GK2, my favourite ever printer, using some Sunlu Basic Grey, probably one of my favourite resins too. And the Uniformation GK2 has done a fantastic job. I printed the helmet both ways. I just needed one helmet, but I didn't know whether printing it upside down or top side down would be the best way, and definitely the top facing up is the better one because you get less supports marked on it. And there she is off the printer. Quality is amazing. If you want to get yourself a GK2, there will be a link in the description where you can get them from. Now, really important to prime all your work, and Newt is no different. I'm giving her a layer of black primer from the Army Painter, as is my favourite ever primer. Now for the skin tones, I'm using the same skin tones I normally do. Nomad Flesh first, just making sure that I go all across the first layer, across her face. I want to make sure I get it smooth all over in all the nooks and crannies of her face, doing the same to her hands and also to the knees where the jeans have rubbed away. So making sure you get all those skin tones with the Nomad. And there we go, that's what she looks like with the Nomad flesh on. I'm moving up to the Wildling flesh. I'm just going to do 2 layers of flesh on. Normally I do 3, I'd mix it up with a Barbarian in the middle, but Newt's going to be filthy, you're not going to see her skin too much, so I'm going to go top down with this just to lighten up the areas as the light would hit with her. And that's it, that's done. That's the skin tones done and dusted, no great hardship there. Now ultramarine blue is one of the colours, or the first colour I use for denim, and I'll show you how I do denim as I go through the video. But the first layer on top of black is ultramarine blue, and what I've also done with her here is I'm going to leave some of the darker areas of the primer coming through, because you've got to remember she's been living in a sewer for ages, or a duct of some kind, eating scraps and dodging aliens, so she's going to be a little bit grubby, a little bit dirty. She's not going to look like this has just come off the shelf from Marks and Spencer's. So don't worry about leaving a little bit of black on there, and just use your airbrush and be nice and careful with it, and just go around all the other bits, miss out the bits you don't want to spray, and you can do it with a little bit of practice. And that's the first layer gone on. Now this is the magic stuff. This is Light Olive 86. It's one of the Humbrol acrylic spray range, and this is the go-to paint for aliens. The helmet's going to get a coat of this. Now whether you're doing helmets, whether you're doing pulse rifles, whether you're doing armour chest plates from the Colonial Marines, this is a brilliant base colour to get on, and it's definitely my go-to colour for all things alien. A while ago I did a pulse rifle, and here it is. A little bit of a show-off piece here that sat on my wall. I made it in PLA quite a few years ago, and as you can see, that is the colour I used on it, and that is the colour that I recommend you guys use on all of your alien bits and pieces when it comes to the Colonial Marines. Okay, now you have painted everything up, make sure you protect it with your favourite clear coat. I'm using this one here, but you use whatever you wish to use. If you want to get this one, I'll put a link in the description and seal that up. Now these brushes, which you can also get from the description, were gifted to me, but are fantastic for doing the job. Now I'm not going to worry too much about her face, because as I say, she's going to be dirtied up a little bit, but I'm going to give her a red wash all over. Now this is great for skin tones anyway, so just watered down basic red paint, pure red from the Army Painter it was. Pop it on and get it off with a sponge. And the idea with this is just leaving a little bit, a layer of red in the background. You're going to have to do it once or twice, but concentrate on the areas that would normally be red, you know, the cheeks, under the eyes, etc, etc. Alright, this is hemp rope. You might not have this colour, but this colour is definitely what I've chosen to do her jumper with. A jumper in the movies is like a greeny yellowy colour, and again it's going to be filthy fired up, so don't worry too much if you can't get the right colour. Just get something as close as you can, or mix something together and use a narrow brush and just get it all around. Now Newt's been printed in one piece, as you can see here. If you did her in little parts, then okay, you might find the painting a little bit easier, but I've done it in one piece because I think the painting will be relatively straightforward. And for the hair, I mean, I've done a video on how to do blonde hair already, which you can find in the description. And the way that I always start blonde hair is with the skeleton bone paint. So blast that all the way across and you'll end up with it looking a little bit like that. And blonde hair is really, really easy. And the next step, you'll be blown away if you haven't seen how to do it before. Now for the jeans, the next stage I've done is I've took ultramarine blue and I've just mixed it with a little bit of white to lighten it up a tiny bit, and I'm going to dry brush it across her. Now that's the first step of a couple of others, but it's important you do this just to give it a variation in blue. So ultramarine, bit of white, put it on your dry brush, get it off your dry brush so there's just a little bit left on, and then rub it across all of the jean areas, concentrating on the folds in the jeans, concentrating on the pockets, concentrating around the holes. This is the magic colour though. Void Shield Blue is brilliant for jeans. Again, dry brush this on and you will be amazed at how denim-like the whole thing looks. This is nearly the last stage of it. This dry brush onto the ultramarine blue gives you a fantastic denim colour, as you can see right there. And there we go. So that's what it looks like. I'm sure you'll agree that looks fantastic for jeans, and it's not hard to do. It really isn't. It's just knowing the best colours to use. Now white is your final colour here, and I'm using white for a couple of things. The first thing I'm going to do is just go around the edges of her holes in her knees, just to make that look raggedy and frayed. And then I'm going to go around the pockets, and I'm going to go around a few other areas, the bottoms and the top of the bit where the flap is folded down. And again, dry brush really lightly across it, and those are jeans. Those jeans are done now. I'm happy with them. That's the colour of jeans. I'm happy with it. Now for the face, I've painted the eyes black. You know I always do this with the eyes, and on many of my videos you'll see me doing it. Looks like a scene out of The Exorcist. Hang on. Oh, go away. Right, she's back. This is a set that I've used as well from the Fairy Flesh set, and I've used this for her lips. Her lips are like a pinky reddy colour, and pop it around the outside of those. I'm going to mix a little bit of pink with a little bit of red to do the lips, and I'm going to use white to do the teeth. Now faces are really difficult to do, I'm sure you will agree, and they're not the easiest things to get right. And I will show you something in a little bit which oh gosh, there's that woman from The Exorcist again. Oh god, I hope she goes away quick. I've got to get some sleep tonight. Now obviously I do white on the inside of the black of the eyes to give that eyeliner effect. You know how I do it, you've seen me do it this way before, and that's what it looks like for the face. All going well, would you say? Now there are times in this hobby where things don't go as planned, and what happened to me on this occasion, and will undoubtedly happen to you, is I painted her face and I didn't like it. I thought it looked really bad. So you have to sometimes start again. So I went back to the airbrush, I just airbrushed some of the Nomad flesh right across her face, and I started again. And I'm so glad I did, because the end result looks a lot better, which we'll show you obviously now, and then we'll come to it at the end. But don't be afraid to start again. If something goes wrong, it's fine. It's a learning experience. We all make mistakes. We all move on. We all learn from it. The important thing is it will happen to you. Don't worry about it. It happened to me on this build. It's happened to me on quite a few builds, but it definitely happened on Newt's face today. Start again, and I'm really pleased with the results. So don't be put off. Don't be demoralised if things don't go to plan. So Newt's face, take two. Phew. I'm a lot happier with that. Would I say it's perfect? No, it's not perfect. It's a really small model to get the eyes completely perfect and see everything, but I wanted to put as much detail in them as I can, and when you pull back to a realistic distance, they look absolutely fab. Now pallid bone is the secret for blonde hair. On top of skeleton bone, this stuff looks incredible. Paint it on, go around the edges first with a small brush, get a big thick brush and wallop it on, and that is the end result. This is speed paint version 1. I haven't tried the version 2 paints, but if you can pick up some cheap ones, definitely get them because they are fantastic. Now to dirty her up, to make her look like she's been in that compactor or whatever she's been in for the last God knows how many years. I'm using this soft wash and I'm just lathering it on. I'm not being defined, I'm not being careful. I am lathering it all over her, and she is going to look filthy. It's on her jumper, it's on her denims, it's all over her face. It's going to be everywhere, and that's the whole point of it. But we still want her eyes to be shiny, and we still want her mouth to be shiny. So a little bit of Vallejo varnish in there just to make that look nice and wet and shiny. Right, just as a reference, these are the paints that I used to paint old Newt up. Rewind it, pause it. These are the ones that I've used, and by all means use your own colours, but those are the ones that I use. Now for the helmet, it's had that base layer of the olivey drab colour, and I'm just going to use a various amount of colours to paint on the helmet. I popped a reference picture up of a Colonial Aliens Marine. There are some markings already on the helmet that Wicked have kindly put on there, and use a little bit of artistic license and just pop it on there, and don't be too worried about it. It's camouflage, it's not supposed to look even. Just keep going on it until you're happy with the end result, and once you've done that, that's what I'm left with there. A little bit more work to do on it, but I'm really happy with the helmet. The camera on there is black, so put that on and it adds a great contrast to the colour. And I'm just going to get a little bit of silver, a little bit of metallic colour, and I'm going to dry brush across the helmet to make it look like it's made of metal, or it's metal underneath. So I'm just dry brushing it, and I'll concentrate a little bit more on the areas of the edges of the metal and around the neck plate at the back. And I'm just going to go around the bottom of it, and that is the helmet pretty much done and dusted, nearly done and dusted. One last thing to do, and that's to make it look a little bit dirty. So use exactly the same soft tone with a big brush. I'm not being careful, I'm not being precise, I'm just splattering it on there and making it look filthy and dirty like it's been on LV 426 with some aliens, and a little bit of varnish on the lens, and that's just the final finishing touch to the helmet. Beautiful, happy with that. Moving on, and there it is. Those are the paints that I used. So again, if you want to know the colour of the paints that I used for it, it's all there for you to have a quick look at and take a reference there if you will. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I hope you've maybe learned something or found something interesting today. I just want to take a couple of seconds to thank my Patreons. Thank you guys for your support. Without you guys, it really would be more difficult to carry on doing what I'm doing. So I am so appreciative of every single one of you. It really is appreciated that you take the time to be in the Patreon. And if you want to join the Patreon scheme, anyone else out there, all the details will be in the description below. Please subscribe to the channel, please leave a like, hit the notification bell, but more importantly, and most importantly to me, I want you to leave a comment. I just want to know that the community out there gets involved, really. Tell me what you think. Did you like it? Didn't you like it? All the usual sort of comments that I'm used to getting. If you need any tips or hints or advice, just ask and I'll do everything I can to help you out. Hope you've enjoyed today. There's some more stuff from Wicked Aliens Diorama coming real soon. In fact, I can see Bishop printing as we speak. So see you next time on Greedy 3D.